Welcome back to the broadcast. Superman here with Shinkari, and we're here to bring you another best of three. This time it's Butler and Villanova. Butler, they're going to be hosting the playoffs here in just a little bit, so they're excited to show us what's in store, what they're going to show for us. We're diving right into the draft, Alex.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see here. I mean, Villanova is definitely a team to be reckoned with. You can't disrespect them, but you know, Butler does. There's a lot on the line here. I think Villanova, I don't think they get into the top four if they win here. They're knocking Butler down a peg, and I believe if Butler loses, then I think their spot goes to UConn, which might be a little awkward if you're hosting the tournament and then you're not competing in it.
Yeah, that would be a tough call. So if you're a UConn fan, you're rooting for Villanova. If you're a Butler fan, you're obviously rooting for Butler. You want to see how that goes through. I like that they're taking away the Akali here. We've seen really good things from Villanova's mid laner on that. And they're taking away the Ziggs. That's also not just Levi, but Carthago. They played that in bottom lane.
Yeah, and I feel like Carthago has been favoring it, at least with some spicy picks with Zach. We've seen that recently. So it'll be good to see like how they want to go about this here. So Butler does kind of have one ban left. Maybe it's directed towards Franco. Maybe it's directed towards Dreamwalk. I can see Butler trying to win through the bottom half of the map a lot. I feel like we see like NatDog, Carthago, and Levi doing a lot of work. So making that bottom half of the map just kind of a little bit easier to work with should be should be pretty good here as they ban another 80 carry. It's going to be Xayah this time, especially once again. Xayah very powerful with those Navori quick blades, as we saw in the games of UConn versus St. John, so we're not going to see that come through. And then Levi's Cassiopeia is going to be banned away here. Just a couple targeted bans. And now here we are, pick one for Butler. What are we looking at?
Probably Caitlyn, or maybe even the Zeri if they want to like force Villanova to steal some enchanters away. But I mean, I'm surprised to see the Xayah ban because Carthago himself was watching our earlier series and was saying, man, what an AD carry diff, right? Of course, Hydra's not playing an AD carry, but there was definitely some style going in the bot lane for the side of St. John's on the Xayah pick. They're going to take Annie. Annie's really good pickup, very flexible, can go, honestly, 3 lanes, right? It can most likely be that support or mid role. But it can be played top lane in the right kind of matchup, so it's a great flexible pickup. Villanova, Franco and Dreamwalk might go just for the tried and true Samira Nautilus. Samira took kind of a hit on a couple patches ago, but then they rebuffed her to make her not so useless. And now I think she's absolutely in a playable state again, but you have to be good at her.
And I think it's going to be interesting for sure to see how Franco wants to deal with this here, so we'll see. I feel like Franco has played a lot of Samira, and for some reason I just don't remember a single game of Franco playing Samira. It's like one of those champions that I think regardless of how powerful Samira is, you do still have to have like a decent chunk of proficiency on her, just because she is such short range. Like her ultimate does require her to like build up to it. You can't just press the button, right? So there's just like a modicum of, hey, you need to at least be good at this champion before you can even if they're good, you have to pick them. But I do like what they have paired with it. The Jarvan is very, very strong, and I do think the answer from Butler is a little funny. Kiana does have the ability to stun and deal a bunch of damage to you if she is inside the Cataclysm. The Supreme Display of Talent does work against the Jarvan Cataclysm there, and can provide
on the outside, right? Like
it depends on what side she's on. I believe. Yeah. So it depends on what side of the thing you get knocked into, but it does interact, and that there are times where like you could extend the range of Supreme Display of Talent just by like the Cataclysm's positioning, depending on where it is.
Oh, colliding with O terrain. Yeah, that's interesting. Definitely a lot of burst potential here for Butler. They're doing that very meta style right now. If you watched like LCK last night, or you're watching other regions, including the LCS, you're going to be able to tell that kind of the meta in League of Legends isn't centered around so many individual picks or like duos that are super strong, but the strategy is you have to be able to burst down a single target. You have to make it immediately a 5v4 so that you can earn an objective. Because right now, there's just so much damage in League that if you can get one target out, there's going to be a mismatch in the 5v4, even with it. There is, I mean, if there's one counter to that point, it probably is Samira, this champion that just wants to be hitting 5 people if she can. We'll see if Villanova can stack up even more, because right now, both teams really do have some powerful picks.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a little bit more bans towards Carthago here, right? We do kind of have half the bottom lane kind of picked out here, and while Annie is a rather flexible pick, I don't think this Amumu is going to be in the hands of Levi anytime soon. Excuse me. So that's probably going to be going over to Nat Dog here. Annie is probably going mid lane, and Kiana is going into the jungle, which means we do now have Levi's pick, or excuse me, we have Newtley's pick, and we have Carthago's pick kind of towards the end here. So we're getting the last picks for Villanova here. Woolala has been on those tanks, has been on the Ornn before, so this is a rather comfortable pick for them, and it's going to be pretty good. And okay. All right.
I wanted it.
Yeah.
It. But they're most
I
likely
wanted
going to
it
go for
too.
Caitlyn. Caitlyn has been left up for so long here that it's a really good option. She can exit the Jarvan combo, which is really strong, but so can Neela. All right, they're going to go for it. I love this. And this is curious because I don't really know what they're going to lock in here for the last pick here for Butler, because it could go any lane. Most likely top. Yes, it's the Jax. And that tells us still that... we're not sure where the flexibility will be between the Annie and the Amumu and the Kiana, because they could kind of be like ring around the rosy, shifted a little bit, right? You could have Amumu in the jungle, Kiana mid, Annie support, but I think most likely you're going to have, well, maybe that is the most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it Kiana jungle with Annie mid, Amumu support?
They're
going to shift around for it.
There's no way Kiana's in the bot lane. There's no way.
No. Yeah. Kiana's not there. That's the only combination I think of those three.
Okay, they're doing this on purpose. Butler, don't do this on purpose. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I want to bring up an interesting point. Kim, Levi, and Carthago, or Kim, Levi, and Newtley, the entire top side of the map for Butler, all three of them are tied for highest gold per minute this split in the entirety of Big East. So, and that's mostly off of they also are topping the charts in highest CS per minute. That means in this farm heavy jungle style, Kim's done really well. Levi and Newtley are not ones to miss those last hits. That's really important, which tells you that even if Butler takes a back foot here for Villanova, they can generally bring it back just by keeping themselves close to gold by being able to out CS their opponents. That's really important, because when you're a composition that needs to get picks in order to win, like this Annie, Amumu, Neela, especially Kiana, they want to be able to go in on a target or two, burst them down immediately, and then win the fight from strength of numbers. They need items. They need damage to do that. So if a team composition like this falls behind in gold significantly, you generally see them failing to burst targets. But Butler is so good at just staying up in CS and getting those last hits, picking up those jungle camps, that I think we can count on Butler to always be relevant. It just comes down to whether or not Villanova will be the ones to start those fights and find the angle and get those engages, and they have the champions to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I mostly agree with you. I think you hit the nail on the head with with team compositions like this. I think the other thing for me is that like team compositions like this also need to get ahead because they're mostly damage, right? Nat Dog seems to be really the only frontliner that this team is really sporting here. Like Carthago, Neela ends up being like deceptively tanky, where she has some bit of defenses in her kit, and you know, a lot of the times like she's stacking lifesteal in order for her to like stay in these fights, right? She's gonna have that overheal shield. Like she likes building the Ravenous Hydra, the Bloodthirster, right? That's also gonna be good with overheal. And then a lot of times you go into that Immortal Shield Bow as well, get that lifeline shield, right?
Yeah.
Like she's deceptively tanky in that way that you just
Plus
heal
exhaust.
a lot. Yeah, that too, right? And so, but there's no true tank, right? in order, like you said, in order for this scenario where Carthago can be this, tanky character, they need those items. They need that gold, right? If they fall behind, now they're kind of falling behind doubly because the opposing team also has some good burst damage.
They do.
They have a similar team comp. We've seen this before where like, hey, both of these team comps are doing exactly the same thing. When that happens, it's whoever gets ahead first. And then they're starting to do your job better than you. And so they start to get in scenarios where they're more powerful, and then that starts to snowball out of control. Yeah.
And tankier, right? The burst has to come through from Butler, and they also have to be able to survive whatever comes back because Villanova's want to do similar things. But let us know in the chat. I mean, we know a little bit about who you guys are rooting for because you've been chatting about it, but based on the team compositions, who do you think won the draft? I'd love to know our viewers' thoughts. We got 10 more seconds here on the countdown timer. Before we load in, again, this is the first game of a best of 3. I would love to see it go the distance because these two teams pretty closely matched, and Butler, I want them to put on a showcase of what we can expect. If they're going to win, I want to see what they're going to bring to the table when you get to see them live in a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the finals. I'm super excited for Indianapolis. Sure to be like really, really cool time. And I think regardless of whether or not Butler gets in, it's still going to be a great time. And it all comes down to this, right? It's kind of like the last ditch effort, last chance qualifier for Butler, for even UConn as well. So let's see if Villanova wants to do their homies a solid, or whether Butler is going to seal the deal on this top 4 position.
Yeah, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. We're here on Summoner's Rift, and it looks like we might have a 5-stack here from Villanova. They're running down the bot lane. They do have Thresh, who has that hook, Glacial Augment as well. Carthago standing outside the Tri-Brush, as you should, for the 5-point strat, so you can see them before they enter. But that makes this path all the more dangerous. Oolala gets back in formation. Dreamwalk looking for the angle. Carthago steps into Fog. Will they find the flash forward? They're going to take down that ward. Yes! The kill credit of it goes to Franco, but the XP was split between all 5.
Yeah, that's plus 10 gold for for Franco. So all they need to do is kill 4 more, and they will have 1 health potion up on their opponent. Huge. Gigantic, even.
That's a big CS lead. Right when I talked up the top side of Butler, look, they're down. They're down in CS. Imagine.
Come on, I guess we got...
Oh no!
We're caster cursing. Stop talking. Stop talking.
How will Butler ever bring this back? All right, they're going to start out that bottom side. I love that Kim did this Kiana pick. I think it's really strong. Definitely extremely mobile, which speaks to the benefit where they're trying to run around the map and get quick kills. You don't want to spend too much time farming with this kind of composition that they've built for themselves. I like that the Jarvan started topside, though, for the side of Villanova. Frostfire could path towards bottom lane and either just go immediately like this 2-camp Gromp, make it 3. Then I think that's level 3, and then he heads to the bottom lane and just one-shot Carthago or Napdog.
Yeah, I mean, this is and that looks to see where he's going with this. And Dreamwalk and Franco have to basically do a good job of making sure that the wave doesn't like super crash into blue side here. But I think they're still trying to get to that level 2, which, yeah, they're able to get it here. Level 2, there's a play.
Ooh, and the nice hook from Dreamwalk. He kind of snuck it onto Carthago when Napdog seemed to be the target. Ignite goes down. It takes a little bit more of the health bar away, but they will not actually survive. Ooh, Carthago with a spicy little emote says, nah, that ain't gonna do it. You're gonna have to try a little bit harder than that. But top lane, Newtly, he's gonna trade a tower hit for a little bit more damage on Oolala.
Yeah, and Jarvan is on this bottom half of the map here. We can see Kim making their way down here. I think they were just like, hey, the wave is shoved in. I got these 3 camps. Let me go ahead and start that up. And Levi might be in some trouble here. Frostfire shows up mid. All right, so I think we have junglers in about the same spot, which looks like Kim might want to look to fight Frostfire. I don't think Frostfire spotted them out, so this might be a successful roam here.
Ooh, but the sweeper should see that Kim's there too. Immediate motion by Frostfire to get out of the way. He knows he's already pretty low. Gonna get rooted. A little bit of damage returned. Red buff there, but Napdog finds the angle. Sup diff, able to find it. Dreamwalk gets the hook. in the Glacial Augment. Now the Amumu has very little place to go. Carthago shows up. They do get it. Franco takes down one, gets exhausted, flashes the wall, can't do it.
No.
It's exhaust making the difference. Oh, what a cringe summoner spell. I hate that in bottom lane as a support champ player. Exhaust. Exhaust. Crazy things happen down there. Newtle's going to put a little damage. Remember, he's the top winner, but he's just holding the wave here in the mid. What a turn of events. Butler takes the lead off bot lane.
Yeah, Carthag, or rather Natdog, the hero play, diving in there, knows he's going to die, but sets up for the team, right? That was a 1-2 punch that, like, brought them. It's like, hey, you know, we got down Natdog. Like, we now have an even numbers, and Carthago, he doesn't have a whole lot of HP left, and he's still fighting. Kim is very low on HP, doesn't have flash. Oh, showing up mid lane, Natdog.
Shoga finds an angle to get out of that first hook and gets close enough to the turret. They can't go for more off of Natdog's roam. That was pretty good. He holds onto his own flash, too. That's really nicely played.
Guys, now here we are. I mean, this is so to comment back on that team fight back there, this is now huge for Butler's start, right? This is now in a position where they can snowball this game, right? And you know, it doesn't look so good for Villanova in this position, right? And you're like, oh, but it's just 5 minutes into the game. It's just like, sure, but when two team comps are trying to do something so similar, this early fights can be the difference maker.
They definitely can. And with 3 takedowns for Kim, that's a lot of money. You can see Serrated Durek is the separation between the Kiana and the Jarvan. That's huge. But the news might be, I mean, this is maybe my support mindset coming through here, is Dreamwalk is like the champion Thresh here to be able to deal with that. The assassins to come in, you got the lantern to get people out of the bad situations, and of course Hook and Flay to either peel or interrupt that kind of engagement. I think it really comes down to whether, ooh, there's that hook over the wall. Can't follow it up though because there's just too much distance.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, like, I think Jarvan might have to put just a little bit more attention into this top lane now, because Jax is the only member that really didn't get a whole lot of gold off of that kind of big trade over there. Annie is doing perfectly fine. It might be a little bit harder to gank Levi than it will be to gank Noodly, especially with how hard Noodly has been shoving up in that top lane there. And on top of that, Woolala should be able to follow up a lot of these ganks a little bit easier, in my opinion. So they have the damage. They've got kind of a very even matchup up there. I think I wouldn't be too bent out of shape about Jarvan just trying to get some gold off of this top lane here. As I don't think he needs a jungler.
Oh, Newly getting a little tanky from his ultimate. Call the Forge God came down. And, too many tower hits. Took the first one on the front end of the trade. That's why Ulala started that. Takes another, and it would have been really the difference maker. You can see that Jax has been bullying this for a minute, but gets a little too overconfident. Gets another turret, and nice outplay by Woolala, the tank extraordinaire player in the top lane.
Yeah, Woolala played that really, really well. That's basically how you have to play that matchup, especially with how aggressive Noodly has been shoving in these waves here, right? Just show up to lane, sure, yeah, just like come in here, play super greedy. I'm gonna punish, and Ornn is able to do that, right? He has solid base damage, he has good CC, his burst windows are actually pretty huge. Like it's a champion that even if you're winning, you have to respect at these early levels, especially when, you know, these like fights are won by these very narrow margins.
Yep, my favorite kind of League of Legends strategy. Do nothing, let your opponent kill themselves. Yes, my favorite. Kind of worked out strategy, worked out well for Woolala. I'm gonna have to see what comes next for this top lane. I mean, Jax should continue to kind of put the pressure on Woolala, but maybe Jax, at this point, Newtly might be frustrated. I mentioned also Newtly, Kim, Levi, they're really good at keeping up in that CS. You can see even after dying and losing the turret to the turret, he's able to pick up all this CS and keep that healthy advantage. Might be evened out here with this big wave. Newtly looking for that extra damage. Frostfire's up near top lane, but Kim's trying to play that zone defense as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is also, ooh, okay, no bandage toss just yet. I mean, this is also the big kind of good thing about constantly shoving in the wave, right? Because Noodly died there, and the wave was shoved into the turret. By the time that the wave was cleared and then another wave came, it ended up neutralizing. So Noodly was able to come back to lane and still be able to get that decent chunk of CS for themselves. Still maintaining at least somewhat of a gold equalizer here. As they come back now as
Ooh, flash forward from NatDog. They absolutely chunk Franco, who flashes away. Dreamwalk brings him to safety. What a play by Thresh. Great reaction from Franco as well. Without cleanse and exhaust instead, he had to move pixel perfect to be able to get out of that engagement.
Yeah, for sure. And the flash engage from NatDog, I wasn't even expecting it either. Like, that was a really, really good surprise play there. I don't even think he needed to do it, honestly. I think he feel like he could have banished stuff. Maybe I'd have to take a look at the where the position of the minions were. Maybe he just couldn't land it. Maybe the minions were in the way. I'd have to double check again. But, you know, it's definitely a good play. The problem is they spent 2 ultimates, and they spent an exhaust, and they spent a flash, and they spent an ignite, and they weren't able to get anything off of it, right? I think at most they got Franco's flash, which might be good if they want to have Kim make their way down towards the bot lane. But based on how the camps are respawning, we might see Kim just go into the mid lane or even just back by the time that they get to their blue buff. Or we could see now that they're going for this dragon.
I do agree with you. It's a real tragedy they didn't actually get the kill on Franco for that. But all the tools they used will be on a shorter cooldown than the flash from Franco. They just have to make sure that they, like you described, maybe bring Kim, make sure that they have the damage to do it. But they're going to start out the dragon. They're first on it, and if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be that ocean one. So they're going to get a bit of healing. Crossfire goes in, puts them in the box, in the Cataclysm. A little bit of a 4v4 situation brewing. Vishoga, oh my goodness, steals the Amumu ult, locks them all down. That's a kill for Franco and a kill for Dreamwalk as Kim has to flash out to safety. Levi tried to ghost away, but did not find an angle to escape. Nice play by Shoga to steal away the magic and use it against them.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those, how quickly Venarly Shoga showed up to this fight and then immediately, both top laners are constantly playing with fire here. Like, they are both not scared. They need to have a little bit more respect for this turret here as Carthago needs to have a little bit more respect for the turret dive.
Yeah, gets exhausted too, so he can't turn around too much damage. Tries to put a little bit more pain down, but Dreamwalk's too tanky for that turret. Also has those steel caps to take very little damage from Carthago himself. Nice dive executed there by Nova. Able to set themselves up. Now they're at about a 2,000 gold lead, mostly off of plays down here on the bot lane, turning things around.
Yeah, and so now this is a pretty nice position for Villanova to be in here. This big team fight is really big, and this is another thing that we talked about too. That like sometimes you don't need to snowball. Sometimes you just need like one big fight to kind of like give you that lead that you need. Now Noodly underneath the turret one more time, below half HP. Could be some trouble here if he doesn't continue to chug those pots.
Yeah, Woolala, no Call of the Forge God for quite a while. Can't follow that up, but I mean, let us know in the chat which tower top lane you're rooting for. Is it red tower or blue tower? Those guys have been wailing on these champions quite a bit in the first 10 minutes of this game.
I want to see the damage. I want to see the damage calculation of how much the turret has done to these top laners here, because
versus
I feel like
top laners to each other.
Yeah. Because I feel like the top turrets have been just dealing so much damage. Noodly,
Ooh, he has to use his ultimate to stay tanky. Call of the Forge God comes down too. Crossfire stun. Cataclysm goes down. One more out of dozen. Woolala throws in the Q to steal away the kill credit. 2-0 for Woolala.
Yeah, and this is now another kind of, I don't want to say nail in the coffin, because I don't want to say that this matchup is over yet, but Jax is going to be in a lot harder position. He's able to duel Jarvan pretty fine, but the second that Orange shows up, like, he's going to have to rely on that max health damage from the Divine Sunderer. Yeah, it's the Divine Sunderer, because there's just so much resistances on Ornn right now between the Aegis of the Legion and the plated steel caps, which if you're playing any other champion, that's kind of fine. Like, he'll be able to fight that. But Ornn just gets additional resistances from items. So that's actually a lot more armor and magic resist than what you would normally have in this situation right this. And now That's an Eternal Resolve, which means that's going to be a lot of healing whenever he goes to press that ultimate.
Yes, a lot for him and his team. Shoga's going to look for a little bit of a trade on to Levi. Takes him down to about 60%. Levi did not want to commit that Tivers just yet. Frostfire and Fog of War. There's not a lot of vision around mid lane. Didn't want to blow the Tivers just to lose it all out to a 1v2 situation. Carthago and NatDog, they have all of those tools back up that they used at the 2v2 before. And now they have Kim in the wings. We had that vision cleared out by NatDog already. He might look for that angle to go for the flash Curse of the Sad Mummy into a combo. Top lane, still wet noodle fight. There's that flash forward from NatDog, finds both. They stun Dreamwalk against the wall, and he will be the target that said, this guy doesn't have any dashes. He can't get out, and he can't lantern himself to safety, so they'll get the 300 gold off the back.
Yeah, they were looking for Franco as well. I think they had a decent in, but NatDog lands the bandage onto a minion there, so it's going to take a little bit of return damage. That is going to be also a kill going over to NatDog, which, man, I don't. That's another one that's like kind of upsetting, right? Because Carthago really needs that money. He needs it. He's a material girl.
Yeah, they definitely need to stack up those physical damage and get that mythic. They can. Plenty of CS, though, to stay in it. There's going to be Levi using the Tivers to stun down Shoga, who has to flash and use the Kiana ultimate. That'll be kill credit going to Kim. Nice play with 3 towards mid lane. They immediately turn on to the neutral objective. That's good. They'll pick up the Herald again.
Yeah, this actually might be really good timing, because they're going to get the Herald, and then Dragon is going to spawn basically immediately after. So if they hoof it, they might be able to contest this Drake. But, you know, I think the problem is now that Jarvan and... looks like actually it's just Jarvan, huh? Jarvan is going to be on that immediately, so it doesn't look like they're going to be able to contest it. But, you know, being able to grab that Rift Herald is good. They will have that a decent influx of gold now that these plates are gone. Like, that Rift Herald is really going to be able to target that here is now. Yeah, Levi doing a really good job of pressuring down that turret there, too.
Yeah, he knew he had a small window to put damage down onto that mid lane turret and wants to be able to get it sooner rather than later. He knew that this was, like you described, a trade for Herald and Dragon. There'll be Hex Tech Drake going the way of Villanova, but now it's a Chemtech Soul. We'll get those extra big plants, extra effective healing plants, and if these teams can stack up a soul, it'll give that bonus damage when you get low HP, the tenacity, and heal shield power. No enchanters in this game, so it's not the best Drake for this, but if anything, it's almost like nightmare fuel for Butler, because they want to burst you down at the beginning of the fight, and if you so happen to survive and turn it around, and you have a stacking Drake, let alone the soul of this Chemtech, well, now you're dealing double damage. You're dealing all this insane bonus, and that'll be hard to deal with when Butler's lineup is so squishy anyway.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that, like, I think this Drake is also huge for the 80 carries who both look for Immortal Shield bows, but gnarly Shoga might be in trouble here.
That's the deletion that you want to see come through. Teleport comes through to mid lane. They're going to look for a little bit more. Frostfire, level 9, does have Gore Drinker. He's just going to try and play that defense, but he's so squishy. They absolutely deleted. Kim is on a rampage. 4-0. 7 KP in the first 17 minutes. They're going to get the brick for this. There ain't no shield bow going to stop this onslaught, as they're going for more. They go for broke, actually. Woolala had flash, but nowhere to actually go. And that means maybe 2 turrets in mid lane. Alex, I don't think they're going to stop, and he's even bottom is trying to put on pain, put the pressure. Dreamwalk Franco, they're up against their turret. They spawn Shelly in mid lane. Yeah,
this is a third turret. This is a third turret. This is insane. This is insane what Butler was able to get off of this. They got 3 kills, 3 turrets, and cleared out the entire mid lane. That means now Levi can just do whatever he wants. Levi is just free. He can just go wherever he wants. He's just like, it's time for me to live, laugh, pray, eat, pray, love. That's what I'm going to do. Mid lane, I'm not going to be beholden to this anymore. I'm going to divorce my mid lane, and I'm going to eat, pray, love. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh my goodness, what a play from Butler. They got 1, they got 2, they got 3, they got turrets. They just said, hey, the next. It's that yes and mentality from like theater sports where you're like, if somebody says let's do this, you say yes and this, and they completely chain that into a fantastic set of events. Now they're up 4,000 gold when we were talking about how Villanova seemed to be in full control. Ooh, this is trouble. Shoga gets stunned against the wall, into the Counter-Strike stun, absolutely obliterated by Kim and Newtley. Oh my goodness, this Kiana's on a tear.
Yeah, just because you don't get flung into the wall doesn't mean that the supreme display of talent doesn't stun you against that huge explosion. That is why Kiana is so powerful in a lot of these stages, and because they're able to chain it real well with Newtley's stun and burst combo, like this is insanely good from the Jax and the Kiana here. And we were talking a whole lot about Carthago being like being a good carry for the team, and now right now it's Kim. Butler Kim is popping off right now. 5-0-4, 100% kill participation in this game right now. There has not been a kill on this map that Kim has not been involved with, and that is gigantic. They're now going to be going back into the jungle here. They're going to be picking up a couple waves here, but I think they're kind of free to just kind of go wherever they want in this bottom half of the map here. I think Thresh and Samira have to be a little bit more respectful of the fact that their mid lane is completely gone, and wrapping around is going to be a lot easier.
Yeah, that's the power of taking down that mid lane turret. You know, Levi was laser focused on it, even sacking CS to make sure that he's just pushing the wave as quickly as possible to get that mid turret to fall early as possible in this game. And it's really important because whenever mid lane falls, it shows that there's that many more avenues to enter the enemy jungle, starve them out of their own jungle camps. That means Frostfire will have a very hard time coming back, and that jungle canyon becomes even wider and wider and wider because Frostfire will struggle. I mean, it's even a risk. He's on vision right now. It's a risk to be doing this Grom.
Yeah, it's that side of the jungle is not, and even though this bot lane outer has not been taken yet, there's just such an easy avenue for Butler to get to that portion of the map right now that you have to be insanely careful inside your own jungle at this point, especially at the top half of the map as well. Like, we're talking about the bottom half. We haven't even talked about the top half, but we need to talk about this AP bar.
We need to talk about how they didn't even see Tibbers to 100-0 that guy. Carthago gets knocked up, dodges out from the stun, but Natdog goes up huge with the 3-man stun. Call the Force God is trying to buy time. They do trade back 1 from Carthago, but where will they go? Kim gets a double kill, takes down more, and they'll donate a kill to Newtley. That is an ace at 20 minutes. The Bulldogs have snarled their way through these 20 minutes.
Superman, you were asking where they were going. I'm going to tell you exactly where they went, back to the summoner platform. Villanova clear, nearly a clean sweep here, and they threw so many resources at Carthago at the start of that fight. I think they even used Cataclysm as well. They used the charge and the pillar, like a couple cooldowns from Ornn. And I think they might have spent Flash as well looking for Carthago. But the huge thing is not only did they not get the kill in that scenario, they didn't even pop the lifeline shield of Carthago yet. And which means Carthago gets to stay in this fight for longer. He still has that lifeline shield from Immortal Shield Bow. He turns it around, is able to get off an ultimate as well, which means his team is now able to stack on more and more of that AoE damage that they have here. That was a huge win for them in that moment. Such a big win, and now they get a Chemtech Drake. They are now up 7 more kills, and now they're looking at 7,000 gold. 7, that lucky number, is now Frostfire.
He thinks this is his jungle. Natdog says, I'm with Kim on this one. They're going to take him down, and they can turn on the Baron. We're past the 20-minute mark. They have some damage. I mean, it's not the fastest in the world. Okay, I lied. Newtley's here. It should be a relatively quick Baron for them to take down. Right? I mean, we're barely past 22 minutes. It's not a very tanky Baron. They're going to be on vision. Let's see if Villanova goes for the Hail Mary. They have no smite to contest. Kim has that 1,200 smite. They get it. There's going to be the supreme display of talent, too. Luckily, nobody goes down. Do I tell a lie? Levi with a three-man Tibbers right onto Franco. They're going to go for more. Jack finds the backline. They get scooped back into oblivion. Nat Dog finds 3 to get rooted into place. Double kill for Newtly. Will Shoga even escape? There's not a chance. Legendary Kim. The Butler Bulldogs are at it again.
Yeah, holy moly. The Butler did not hold any punches there. They were just like, yeah, you tried to steal our Baron. Like, we're not letting you get out of here for free. That Lantern is not good enough. Levi using the movement speed on that shield, and also their Ghost as well, which is kind of funny. Like, I didn't expect it. Like, you usually don't see a Ghost on Annie here, but it makes a lot of sense, right? It, like, if you can just run them down, stay within range of your stuns and stuff, like, there's nowhere for them to go. If you have the solid damage that Levi has, and is also opting for a Rylai's Crystal Scepter as well. So even if they try to get away, like, where are you gonna go? Annie's got Ghost, and she's slowing you too. Like, she's stuck to you, and that is going to be like easy peasy for the rest of the team to follow up on as well. So real big success for them there means that they can now. Not only did they grab that inhibitor in the mid lane, I believe they also grabbed the top lane turret. I'll have to double check or wait for Ornn to move. But yeah, this is now some pretty big moves for them, because now they can do a 4-1 split. Now, granted, it's pretty far away, so if they fight, Jax won't be able to really help them, but Jax is so far ahead. I think he's perfectly fine 1v1ing Benarly Shoga here, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of magic resist. So look at this 4-1 split that now Villanova has to deal with here.
Newtly gets a lot of damage onto Shoga, but does take damage back from his nemesis, the tower itself. He's going to see if he can find another counter-strike, goes deeper, and top lane, they obliterate the Thresh. Dreamwalk is going to have to take his own nap as he gets taken off of Summoner's Rift. Newtly still taking a lot of damage from that tower. Able to survive this time. It changes the outcome for Newtly. They're going to take down a second inhibitor. Butler is looking for more. Is going to find 3 once again. Nat Dog is insane with it. Willala is no longer for this world. 5 members in your base, in your face. Butler, they're going to clean up house. Take the Nexus, and game 1 is there.
Newtly showing off being the quirked up sad boy goated with the sauce with these Mumu ultimates. That has got to be like the most old man thing I've ever said in my life. Please forget that you heard that.
Wait, what? That sounded like almost Gen Z. I was like, I don't understand what he's saying, but it sounds hype. That must be some lingo I'm not in the know of.
Yeah. I mean, it was
this year. I feel out of touch.
I mean, you got to throw stuff against the wall to see if it sticks. But yeah, I mean, it was insane how Butler was able to turn that around there. That dog confirmed goated with the sauce. Okay, I got validation from the chat. Okay, that's how I know. That's how I know I did a good job. All right, but that's dang, like the beginning of this game was really back and forth, and we were starting to see Villanova start to put some cracks into the armor of Butler, right? But it was really once Butler was able to kind of get like a few items under their belt that they were like, hey, our pick comp is better than yours, and here's why.
Yeah, that was kind of the point I was trying to make in the draft. We're leading up to the game. I was talking about CS numbers and how Butler is really good at staying close in gold even when things go wrong. And we saw that put on display here, right? This is what you want to see of a playoff caliber team, where Villanova, they found not just like a crack in the armor, but they slid that knife in there and they're like, this is our game. You have an acceleration comp. We caught you out in the early game, and that means, what are you going to do? If you can't get your items, you can't burst out, you can't win. And at that point, many analysts might look at this game and be like, I'm a little nervous. Butler, they didn't accelerate the game. They're kind of falling behind. What happens? But man, Kim, Levi, I mean, they just played out of their minds. Nat Dog, MVP, bar none. Playing crazy, setting everything up for Kim. Kim did the damage, yeah, sure. And he looked real clean. I want to see that Kiana again. But Nat Dog, you banned that Amumu from this guy. Because he found I think every time he hit it, it was 2+ members. And the only time it was 2 members was when there was only 2 members to get. In Butler. Nat Dog's crazy with it. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Butler, they want to hit the nail all the way through that coffin, knock Villanova out, and set themselves up for their host at Indianapolis. Don't go anywhere. You want to see this. Welcome back, viewers. Superman Shinkari here. We are the dynamic duo bringing you Butler, Villanova. up to Villanova if they want to make this a series. And to be honest, they definitely can, because game one, it looked to be in their favor for the early game. But Butler, they clapped back hard. It was like a 1-2 punch knockout as soon as Butler got on the board.
Yeah, and Butler really did a good job. I think when we were talking about it earlier, how the beginning of that game was very back and forth, and I was talking about how Villanova might have put like a crack in the armor. You said how he's stabbed, and the only thing I could think of was like another movie reference of Gladiator, Maximus being stabbed before his final fight and then still winning at the end of it. Like
I thought you were going to go full Monty Python. It's only a flesh wound.
It's only a flesh wound. I'll bite your legs off. Yeah, I mean, this is look at. I mean, Villanova is poised to like still be able to fight here. I don't think that I can completely count them out yet. If this game is going into a game 3, it is because Villanova is still a good team, right? Like it's close. It's a lot closer than you think, right? But Butler was running a comp that, you know, once it gets ahead and did so in the fashion that it did, right? It was stacking like multiple, like lethality was like super hard to deal with. Like the only person that wasn't taking like large amounts of damage from lethality was Ornn, right? The rest of the team was rather squishy. So I'll have to see how Villanova decides to answer this, because a lot of the champions that they had a hard time with in the previous game are still available. And I like this kind of insta-lock here for Carthago, getting that Jinx, getting that champion that was banned away previously. Let's see how Villanova decides to answer.
Yeah, I do like that lock-in for Carthago. I love it when Carthago's playing these longer range carries. That includes the Ziggs, right? That he can pick and choose for himself which engagements he wants to start dishing out the damage or not commit to. It's a little bit harder to do that as that Neela pick, and he kind of got left behind, didn't need to participate as much, but you put him on something like a Jinx and he will get excited. Franco gonna lock in that Tristana. It's a decent answer. There is a change about a year ago to the Flame Chompers, however, the traps for Jinx. It now would interrupt something like Rocket Jump from Tristana, so not as much of a counter as it used to be, the Tristana being able to jump on Jinx early if the Jinx is prepared for it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think Villanova here, going back to the tried and true with Frostfire on the Jarvan, I think I'm fine with that. I don't think the pick itself was the big problem, right? I think it was mostly just Butler doing very well.
Yeah.
I think the Jarvan pick is very good. It also is going to synergize real well with the Tristana, right? Make sure people stay within Tristana's range without like having Tristana need to run away every 2 seconds. Gets down that burst damage, right? It's going to synergize well there for these early levels. But look at this, Kim immediately on the Kiana.
Yeah, I was curious if they were going to first pick it, just like, what do you do? There seemed to be no answer to stop that. Oh, and that's going to be a lane Zac, too. I'm excited for that. Unless Levi and Kim are doing a handshake, and they'll be like, I want to play Kiana this game. Like, let me have a turn on that crazy champ, because it seemed to be wild, the amount of damage that that champion did. Didn't Kiana just get buffed, too? Like, I want to say she did on one of the last 2 patches. Wild to see that she's just showing up wild and crazy and free. A free dub for that game 1. But there's going to be Sylas. Once again, Shoga, he is undisturbed, not perturbed at all by what happened in game 1. He's going to go right back to the tried and true along with Frostfire.
Yeah, I think, once again, I don't think the picks themselves were the problem with Villanova. I think it was just mostly like Butler getting so far ahead that they didn't have the tools to efficiently deal with it. Now, maybe that is the picks themselves, right? Like, but also like how much of it is like, oh, we fell behind in this scenario, or they like these kills that they got super early ended up meaning a whole lot once they got later into the game, right? I think for the most part, Villanova needs to kind of like evaluate how they're going to do the rest of this draft and what tools they need to give themselves if they run into a scenario again where they're behind and they need to be able to fight a comp that's constantly looking to pick them out individually.
Yeah, it looks like Villanova's going to go back to what they're working with, and they just change out the 80 carry pick a little bit. Maybe they still go for that Ornn top lane. They banned Jax this time. Might be an even easier matchup. No, okay, Wulala is going to go for that Vladimir. This is new. This is interesting. Normally a top, like, off-tank bruiser and tank player is Wulala, but we've seen the Vladimir, I think, twice, if I'm not mistaken, just this spring alone. And when he finds a good angle for it, it can feel pretty good. I think it's because he's anticipating that the Zach might have been top lane. This is a little bit harder of a matchup into the Tryndamere, I think.
Yeah, I think the real guess was he was seeing the Kiana, he was seeing the Zac, and he's like, okay, well, there's a lot of burst damage on the enemy team right now, and Vladimir is the best champion to deal with burst damage, right? You can get a Sonya's Hourglass to even, if you need to get through a second burst phase, you just get that more available to you. You get, basically, it essentially reduces the cooldown of your pool. But this is good, right? We saw the Vladimir counterpick against the Pyke and Yukon, and that's kind of a good thing to deal with. However, he's laning against Tryndamere. And Tryndamere doesn't really care if you can dodge some of his damage. He just keeps running at you. You're not really getting away. And it's almost like Tryndamere sees you turning into a puddle of blood, and you're just cute. I was gonna do that anyway, but I guess he did it for me. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting time up in that top lane. There is completely different from what we saw before.
Difficult too. They'll bring the Ignite, which will make it Ignite plus crits will make Woolala's life a little bit difficult. But hey, they shifted Dreamwalk now to be on the Jarvan support. That's a kill lane now, and it's Zac support too. They want to fight. They're gonna fight. Either that, or they're gonna do absolutely nothing for the first 8 minutes, and then have junglers show up for a dragon or herald fight or something. Because that is a very explosive bottom lane. If the Jarvan goes in or the Zac, it's almost like who goes in first will lose, almost certainly. Because the Zac goes in, Tristana gets a little bit of space, and then Jarvan knocks him up, reduce armor, everything, and now you're deleted. But also, if Jarvan goes in first, he just gets Elastic Slingshot, pummeled against some minions, Jinx throws down the traps. It's whoever goes first loses, I think, on these supports, which makes me think maybe, even though it's spicy, we might not see any action for a while, or they'll just roam.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it is kind of whoever engages first is going to be in a big trouble, right? Because I don't want to reiterate too much of what you said. I agree. I also just think I wonder how late into the draft they were okay, we absolutely need Yone for the mid lane. Let's throw them off, because this Jarvan support has got to be something they were just hey, we want to pick a different champion. Can you play Jarvan because we've locked it in, right? And these kind of scenarios don't really work out as well as you'd like. Right, so Jarvan, I have said since season 4, I think that I think Jarvan support is good. I have been on the Jarvan support train for a very long time.
It's a kill lane.
However, I don't know how I feel about him specifically in this matchup here. He'll be good to be able to dive on top of Jinx for sure, but that's post 6. Level 2, he might have some good burst to help Tristana get in. But it depends on what Tristana takes with their mastery, or with the runes rather, and with their level ups on level 2. So this could be a potential for this level 2 to be insanely explosive. But it also depends on where is Carthago positioned? Where is Nat Dog? How close is the wave to the turret? Right? Because Jinx, I don't think Carthago shoves out this wave early, and you just can't shove a wave against Tristana. You just can't. Right? No. And so there might just be a position where they get level 2 early, and haha, here's our power spike, but then they're up against a turret. I don't think Dreamwalk is going to dive a turret level 2.
Unlikely. Very unlikely. He's in the support role instead of the jungle. Not going to be able to bring double buffs to lane and try and dive a turret on the second wave or third wave or so. But yeah, I'm not sure how this will play out. It seems like a very explosive bottom lane. I love Levi's pick of Taliyah. Man, the Taliyah E laying down those rocks. Almost every single champion Villanova drafted has some sort of dash, and they want to dash at you. And so you can stun them all up with that kind of ability. But we're close. We're moments from loading onto the Rift here for game 2 of this best of 3 Butler. They want to shut the door finally on Villanova and set themselves up, get that plane ticket for the hometown they live in, walk over to the studio, to the Esports arena. I corrected myself. You can see the brain moving there. It's like, get that plane ticket to. Oh yeah, they're hosting. It's like literally where they are. They're gonna be fine. I wonder, Butler, if you got some members in the chat, are you guys playing from the arena that you're gonna be hosting in? I know you guys have like a really cool studio, but is that where you guys play these games in, or do you play in like a practice lab or something? But anyway, I'm sure someone will give me that answer. We're here on the Rift. Dreamwalk and Franco. They're walking with Shoga down mid lane. Trying to see if they can find somebody unawares, potentially, or they're just going for the 5-point. Yeah, it looks like a 5-point.
Yeah, we're gonna get a 5-point start here. This is fine after game 1, especially because like running into an elastic slingshot might not be too good. I mean, I think Butler might have the better level 1 here. Man, I'm just not excited about this Tryndamere. I don't like Tryndamere. It's just like whenever he's picked, it's like, you know, whenever I talked about this when Blitzcrank gets picked, right? We talk about this when we talk about Blitzcrank. You stop playing League of Legends, you start playing Blitzcrank. When you have to play Tryndamere, League of Legends, every bit of League of Legends ceases, and you now have to deal with whatever Tryndamere is doing, right? And it stinks because it's hard to 1v1 him sometimes. Other times, like he's either unkillable or he's like you're ignoring him because he's not worth gold, and then he's killing all your turrets. So, and then oh my god, look at this!
Oh, and level 1, did he get a crit there? Is it so much
oh my
damage?
god, Wulala, don't walk back.
Yeah, it's a lethal tempo. That works out really well for him. Yeah. We got a lot of homies in the chat. Big callbacks too. Even Tryndamere mid has been a thing recently. It's even shown up in some pro play. It's a strong champion when you can find like the perfect matchup to play it.
Yeah, and like I remember like mid lane Tryndamere was getting picked because there were just so many mages. Like there wasn't a single like energy champion or anything, and so you know Faker was like, "Yo, if you're gonna play Kassadin, I'm just gonna play Tryndamere. I'm never gonna cast a spell ever. You're not gonna get any stacks, and I'm just gonna wait for you to be out of mana, and then I'm gonna run you down and kill you."
Level 2 for Carthago and NatDog. They're, again, just calling a little bit of a bluff, right? You don't want to actually all in, but you do want to be the first to level 2, so the other team can't do that. Levi trading nicely. Shoga has to be smart about when he can dash forward over those rocks. So
no way Noodly is going to fight Frostfire right now.
Yeah, of course he is. He's got Ghost, he's got Ignite. What does he have better to do? Ulala's scared, and oh no, he's gonna walk back, and oh, there's the dash forward.
No.
Couple more autos. Ulala to half. He's a little bit better sustained than the Tryndamere does. Frostfire saying just out of vision in an awkward spot. Remember, this is the jungle where Kim flashes, or Kim dashes, flashes, and gets the flash from Frostfire. Decent trade in mid lane too. It's a Dark Harvest Talia, not Electrocutes, not going to look for full combos all the time. Newtly not able to find a crit just yet. Now Wulala might be turning this a little bit around with that sustain difference.
Yeah, here we go. This is the burst. Go looking for it.
If you go in first, are you in trouble? It's knock up into knock up. It was a good trade though. Well done by Franco. He doesn't quite pull the exhaust out of Carthago, but gets it down to 40%. Frostfire thinks it's still an angle to hold his own jungle. Kim has just been waiting here, still level 3, has only done 4 camps, and brings Newtly down again. What is this? Butler? They just have Villanova in a stranglehold right now.
The Butler's, I feel like the Butler actually has to do something though. That's the problem. Like they're doing all this stuff, but nothing's actually happening. Now, Gnarly Shoga might be in some trouble here.
Yeah, gets knocked back by NatDog. Ignite goes down. He says, enough with this. Bot lane's never going to happen. This is what I'm saying. He can't do anything bot lane because it's too dangerous. Just go mid lane, even put down the Ignite to force this like recall, right? If he doesn't recall and TP back, he's in trouble of getting like dove by Kim and Levi. I guess Levi's out of mana, so my point might be moot. But yeah. I like that roam from NatDog. He's like, don't forget, I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is not, oh, good chompers though. Can they get anything off of that? Doesn't seem like it.
Why didn't NatDog go in for more there? They have like a double wave for Butler. I feel like that was absolutely the moment to look for an all-in on Dreamwalk. I guess without Ignite, they don't want to pick that fight.
Right.
For a little bit of poke. push this wave out, perhaps get a recall if they can get it to hit the turret all the way.
Yeah. As now, we're starting to see some of the fruits of that labor against. Oh my God, Ignite!
Oh, get the Ignite. That's flashing. Ghost out of Wulala. The Ignite's ticking down. He's down to about 50 health, but enough space between him and the ghosting Newtly. Gonna have to recall, but no TPs for either of these top laners. So whenever you see a trade like that, Newtly, he's up. One auto, maybe another. Kim's around the corner. Will he go for it? Nice
Snowball.
pull underneath the yeah, where's
Snowball?
the
Snowball.
Snowball and then flash out. That's the play.
Yeah.
Can't find it. Oh, close. But it's not going to be a death. Effectively very close to the same outcome, however, as Willa will have to recall. And now you can see Newtly. He's up 20 CS. That 15 CS is about the value of a kill. So he's already up about as much as if they were even in CS and he killed him anyway.
Yeah. I mean, this is still really insane. Like, it's showing that Wulala is not safe in this lane, and I think going back to so he opts for the Noon Quiver here. I was gonna say probably. I was gonna say Newtly just probably wins if he gets like a Vamp Scepter and a and an Executioner's Calling. Like I feel like he just wins with the Executioner's Calling.
I feel like this is better for what's happening, which is the CS, and Wulala's generally not trying to fight him, which I think is smart for this matchup. But yeah, I mean, if you want to get in your opponent's head, you're like, I can heal, and you can.
Yes.
And they're going to feel terrible about it. Crossfire here, trying to see if they can get an angle on Levi. Can't quite get the distance. Gap closed by the chains. Just be a little bit of a trade here in mid lane. But yeah, I like your point. I think if I was playing it, and I'm not good at top lane, but if I was playing it, I would have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like getting the vamps, like, cause you delay your mythic, but like I don't think like Tryndamere really cares. Like Tryndamere doesn't really need the Gale Force. The Gale Force is nice, right? It's definitely a lot of movement, but like Tryndamere just auto attacks. If he picks up a Bork, he's fine. As now, no.
Yeah, this is Newtly's top side. Forces the flash from Frostfire. That just came up, by the way. Like,
did he just try to chains?
Back in. Well, he did have Shoga in the wings, maybe to turn things around. But yeah, that's a level 6 Tryndamere. I don't think you're gonna kill him. He literally can't die.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. That's a for me. Like if those chains connected, I think you're actually upset if you're Frostfire, right? Like I think you die there and then maybe Gnarly Shoga gets the kill, right? But like level 6 Newtly means that he has the Berserker's Rage, so even if you do get him low, he is able to pop that ulti and then, you know. Regardless, here we are. Newtly is shoving in the wave and then immediately walking into the jungle and looking for Frostfire, which is gotta be the worst thing on the planet. Because take a look at Frostfire's level right now. Actually, take a look at Wulala's HP bar.
Maybe one more crit might have done it. He's trying to stack back up for that E. If he can spin towards it, uses the ultimate. Wulala goes down, throws down his own, trying to get a little bit of healing first, but he gets the crit. Ah, no! Tryndamere crit you! Finally! I bet Newtly's thinking like, come on! This is my 50th auto attack this game. One of these has to do the job, and that one does. It's a solo kill top lane, and they're gonna get the dragon while all that happens, but...
Yeah, I mean, that was... This could not be a better game state for them right now, as Natdog finds a huge double knockup here.
Oh, yeah, you expect that from him, because we saw him last game on Vetamumu. Yeah, Kim, he wants to go for it. They don't have level 6 for Dreamwalk. They do have Exhaust, however, which makes this a little bit more risky. I'm gonna look for maybe pushing the wave, get a recall. They just came back to lane though.
Yeah, I mean, so okay, so this is a really good state for Butler right now. They were able to get that kill top, and then they were able to get a dragon off of it, and now Newtly just oh no, okay, here we go.
Crossfire this time, he got the chains to connect, and he wants it. Newtly doesn't have ultimate. Do they remember that? Did they communicate? Take him down! Levi can't find the angle. Shoga's here, dashes in, knocks up Levi.
Supreme display of talent?
Yeah, it buys a little
over
bit
the wall.
The last rock!
Did he get it?
I don't know who got it. Woolala picks it up. It must have been red team. They talk it. Oh, Newtly's here. He's trying to get one more crit. Will it be another? Kim tries to survive, and yeah, the crit comes through. There's the ultimate from Dreamwalk. He gives his life for a little bit more damage. Franco goes down. Exhaust from Carthago. There's not going to be a turnaround. Set up by NatDog, as you would expect. The Bulldogs are at it again, 5-0.
Butler showing off the meaning of the phrase "close only matters" in horseshoes and hand grenades, and now Villanova was close. Villanova was close in every single fight across the map. They were so close to getting Newtly. They were so close to getting Levi. They were so close to getting Carthago. And Butler just lives every single time. This is huge. 5-0 right now. 4.2 thousand gold in the lead at 10.5 minutes. You cannot have a better game state for Butler right now.
Close only matters in horseshoes and hand grenades, and yeah, when you look at the scoreboard, you'd think this is a stomp, but Villanova has been razor close to picking up kill after kill after kill. It's the crit difference, right?
Yeah.
It's that extra. Well, he wins. You just walk away. It reminds me of like seasons 1, 2, 3 League of Legends where you had the rune pages you had to build ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
People would take
the
that
one crit rune.
Yeah, 1% crit chance. And in winning phase, it's like, okay, I guess I lose lane to this guy who had a 1% crit. Oh, nice play there from NatDog. He gets it out. All the movement out of Shoga. Shoga's got nowhere to go. Kim gone more. Just play up talent into the queue. Huge from Kim once again. Lila in trouble top lane, trying to trade back, get a little bit of healing. Remember, he picked up that Herald, but will he ever find an angle to use it because he's always pinned underneath this turret?
Yeah, now Newtly onto Woolala one more time. That's only 2 auto attacks. He just walking away.
Cool people don't look at explosions, and even
they
cooler
do not.
people don't watch when some damage over time tick kills their opponent. Ah, the disrespect. Newtly, he's feeling good this game. Coming off of the win, last one, and you can see there's maybe an angle to play around here bottom. Him, he's got no ultimate trying to sneak in. Crossfire's trying to take a camp in his own jungle, but look, NatDog's here. He gets the ward. Frostfire's half HP.
Is he gonna look
or
for it? No way.
Yeah, I mean, Kim, he's on the way as well. There's gonna be the Q.
You do with the blast cone.
Man, pull him back into space. Kim finds him against the wall. That's a lot of damage onto the 3 targets, but no way to follow that up so deep under the turret.
Yeah, it is going to force him off the Gromp here, and if they stay a little longer, I think the blue team might accidentally be like, oh, look, there's a blue buff here. Isn't that weird? I guess I'll take that too. So I think that's the best thing for them to be doing right now. Just kill the Gromp. Just kill the Gromp. Take it. Newtly in some trouble in the top lane. That's an ultimate.
And trying to get the flash out of Ulala if he can. There's the empowered Q if they can go for it. The flash forward, the damage.
Yeah.
Huge shutdown on Shoga. There's that disrespect. Newtly, he stayed way too long. He used the ultimate just to get a couple of caster. So that was pretty sus. And definitely paid for it with his life. Huge shutdown going over to Gnarly Shoga, and that's gonna work out well. Levi trying to poke back. He's now got that Leandries, so there's a little bit of damage. You can see Shoga has actually found the CS advantage, and now with the roam, he's up the same amount of kills.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit of a... I think you hit the nail on the head that, like, I think Newtly might be just, you know... y'all are doing great, and I think we're excited, but, like, you know, be careful. Oh, my God, that play from NatDog was so good.
Yeah, NatDog, he finds every sort of engage, left, right, and center, all here in the bot lane, set up, and now Jinx is excited. 3-0-2, they'll just shred through the last of these plates as they got 30 more seconds to get money from them.
Yeah, this is looking really good for them right now. Butler is set up so well. They're getting a kill in the bot. They're getting 2 kills in the bot lane. They're getting the blue buff. They're getting first tower. They're getting now Drake too. Like, this is now just not looking great for Villanova in this stage. It's 8,000 gold difference at 14 minutes. Yeah, it's tough. You'll probably be able to get back into this game, but it's gonna require a lot. It's going to require a lot of patience. It's going to require a lot of very solid communication, and it will require some mistakes from Butler, like that we saw in the top lane with Newtly, right? Yeah. It's really going to have to come down to that, playing patient and waiting for Butler to make mistakes, because we have seen them do it.
Yeah, that's a patient and determined game, but I gotta say, the slopes of Everest are littered with the corpses of very determined people, and that's what this kind of feels like. Summoner's Rift is littered with corpses. Butler, he's gonna Newtly, sir, he had ultimate up as well. I guess
yeah.
no chance to survive. He's playing biting off a little more than he could chew. But I have to say, game 2 here, it's looking like game 1 was just a warm up for the Bulldogs. They are on fire.
Yeah, it certainly was an interesting choice. I'm trying to put this as mildly as possible, and I don't think I can do it. That was like the biggest question mark king I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, Nat Dog, he's gonna make everybody forget about what happened top lane, because this guy just finds the engage. You have to respect that. What people don't realize is Zach can actually slam your head back against a plant. If he lands that first Q onto you, he just auto attack a plant and it works. Pull you that half distance, so you gotta be careful about that. That's the second time he's found a kill off of it. They're gonna go for Franco. Wait, Levi interrupted Nat Dog's elastic slingshot with his ultimate.
No!
The Weaver's wall knocked him out of him. That was a really silly
report. That's a reportable offense. I'm fairly certain.
True. He's trolling. Come on. Not quite to the 0 and 15 that automatically bans you. But Frostfire, he's looking for more. I don't know if he actually wants to take that chains 3 levels down against Levi.
Yeah, as now, oh my god, another. Nat Dog is playing so fast and loose right now. I don't know if it's like if it's like bad at this stage, because it doesn't seem like Villanova is ever really in a position to truly punish him for a lot of these elastic slingshots that he's just kind of haphazardly throwing around.
Yeah, and he's finding them, though. That not able to connect this time, but there's 4 members to dish out the damage, and Nat Dog's Ignite gets him. He says, all me. And Newtly's, he's still not stopping. He's got that ultimate. He's got Ignite. Does he want to go for more? Yeah, he's underneath the turret. Ignite goes down. Will this be enough? So one more tick. The heal comes through off of the ultimate from Wulala. He'll survive this time around once again. Shoga's going to get a turret. Nice. This is going to be that shutdown gold, right? The bounties, and actually quite a big one, as they're going to take that to 10,000 gold deficit. Trainlock, he's looking for the angle. Remember, still the ultimate Undying Rage for Tryndamere, but you mentioned this early on. The Tryndamere, he's just going to stay here, right? This and the... Oh,
what?
Nice. Super Mega Death Rocket found the angle. Exhaust onto Kim. He's trapped inside the Cataclysm. This time the chains connect. Ignite goes down. That will be a dead Butler. Kim. Dreamwalk down to 100 HP. Flash forward for Carthago. He gets excited. He's looking for more. There's a kill in bot lane for Frostfire. He's knocked into the air. Nat Dog says you've got nowhere to go. Carthago. Gale Force forward. The crit. One more auto attack from the tower is not gonna do it. He survives. One more and he's legendary. Carthago, he's doing it.
Yeah, and these are kind of the mistakes that you're looking for Villanova to really capitalize on there. But, you know, Jartman is pulled back into the fight. Carthago gets dove on, but once they get getting excited, it's really hard to stop a Jinx, especially when she has Nat Dog just kind of babysitting her right there. Right, this is looking that was a really good way for Villanova to punish Butler, get some gold back in their pockets. I even think that they got like a shutdown onto Kim, and they got a kill onto Levi, I believe it was down in the bot lane there by Frostfire. But it's gonna require a lot more, because man, we were talking about before how like the gold lead was something that you could come back from. We are now looking at about 12,000 gold. This is the difference between it's 11,000 and some change. And once you get to this kind of level of the game, it's just man, it's like not really possible to come back from. I don't want to say it's not impossible. I never want to say something is impossible, but like it requires something that is not happening right now.
Yeah, what is happening is a bloodbath on this side of the river. We'll see that this will be third Drake picked up by Butler. This, I mean, it's intelligent. Villanova, they're using that time in the side lane. That's going to be another turret. The shutdown bounty picked up by Shoga once again on the side lane, trying to bring his team back in it. If you can get an inner as well, that's actually quite a bit of money. Might bring them back into contention, maybe a little generous, but back into an actual dream away from bringing this back. Newtly, he's going right in on 2. Gets Cataclysm down. Weaver's wall to separate Franco from the team. Nat Dog trying to find an angle, flashes forward, knocks Franco against the head. Ignite goes down, he takes him. Ulala goes deep, can't survive, even with Flash. Crossfire's the last member standing. And Shoga is gonna recall. In fact.
Yeah, I mean, so this was actually, honestly, I didn't hate the play from Villanova here, right? Have the split push going, you get something on somewhere else on the map, you know you're not going to win the 5v5 straight up, send Gnarly Shoga somewhere else to gain advantages, and I don't hate it, right? But the gold lead is now 12,000, and I think the big message here is that they weren't really, maybe Villanova is just playing a little too far forward. They just needed to stem the bleeding. They didn't need to be up in Butler's face, right? And you know, you can't be like, oh, you can't be the guy who split pushes and be like, guys, I told you not to fight. It's just like, bro, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, they engaged on us. Like, we didn't choose this life, okay? But this is still, once again, you know, a position that hasn't really changed. 12,000 gold in the lead. Gnarly Shoga looking for Levi.
Oh, the hourglass diff, man. It just buys enough time to make that dash expire. He gets snapped back to his ghost location. Newly, he's looking for more. Does have Ignite, goes down to Ulala, but this time, there's help. Villanova not gonna give over life yet. Levi gets caught unawares in bottom lane. Newtly, will he press R this time? Yes. Wow, mechanically proficient in the top lane. Gonna survive this time as he joins his team with their sights on the Baron.
Yeah, and this is probably a good thing for Butler to pick up here. They've gone kind of, they're down a member, but if they're going to have Gnarly Shoga, like a very strong member of their team, be in the bottom lane here, he does have teleport available, but there's nothing really to teleport for him to teleport to, so it's going to come down to a smite fight probably.
100 health difference. It's so close from Crossfire, who has the tournament hold just to survive and be able to stay in the pit longer. Franco over the side, 1,000 gold shutdown, hops away, tries to create distance, but can't get far enough away. Shoga picks up his third bounty turret. Trying to bring his team back into it, kicking and screaming, but the rest of his team once again dead without him.
Yeah, and this is, once again, Villanova is making the right choices, right? They have to contest the Baron. They can't just let Butler have it, right? And Gnarly Shoga has to make advantages and cash in on these objective bounties somewhere else on the map. And he's very strong. Like, look at what he's able to do right there against Noodly. He's not a slouch. Right? This is a very strong member that you have to respect, right? They're down 12,000 gold, and this is kind of what I wanted to get to. They've been making the right decisions, but this gold advantage has not changed, which means Villanova needs to catch Butler slacking. And I feel like Butler has kind of been doing that. Like, they've been kind of overestimating like how strong they are, but like even wider than it already is.
Yeah. That was Kim trying to get a solo kill in Dreamwalk without his team there, and now he doesn't have that ultimate for whatever the next skirmish would be. I could see what you're saying. There's an angle where if you're gonna have that dream, then there almost needs to be the me, and Shoga's got 420 as a score, so we're halfway there.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like this, there are angles to get in here. Butler, they're like, we're up so far ahead, we can do whatever we want, right? And you sort of can, but you also can't, right? Because
ooh, finds Crossfire, but forces the flash, and that's still not enough distance. Kim and Franco almost died of the super mega death rocket because this just
And this is kind of what Butler kind of needed to do. They're just like, okay, we need to like pump the brakes. Like, we don't need to be that aggressive. But Gnarly Shoga is now in the team, and it's gonna be really hard to kill this. He's got a Warden's Nail. Are you serious? Holy. Okay. Well.
If there's a way back in, it's going to be surviving some of the crits that come through from Newtly and Carthago, and even the armor to survive Kim's burst. It's a one-man show right now. Shoga, he's with his team. They're going to give up the inhib for just a moment. There's going to be a four-man Cataclysm into the ultimate from Shoga. They take down Kim at the front end. That's going to be really good to set things up. Shoga's still 100% HP. Frostfire, he's going to go down to the Ignite. Potentially, no, he holds the Trimmer ult. Minion auto! Ah! No, he's gone! Newtly's on the backline creating chaos. That's 2 kills. Shoga's dominating. Might be able to find an angle. There's still Trinimir who has his ultimate ability. You have to create distance. Shoga, get out of there! Get out of there now! It's not safe! Oh, Franco will clean up, though. That's really good. That's a 3 for 4, which is fantastic when you're down 12,000 gold. They may be able to even deny Soul at this point. Villanova with a great base defense. All that for just inhibitor, you take that trade every day.
Yeah, and this is kind of the big thing too. Like, this is what we've been talking about. Butler has been slacking. They've been just kind of throwing around their resources willy-nilly, right? And now they've gotten punished for it. They could have gotten punished harder, I think. I think they got just a little too... I think Villanova might have played just a little too scared here, but at this stage of the game, that's fine, right? Like, losing Tristana, losing Franco, losing Wulala at this stage means that it's going to be a lot harder. But, like, it's like Butler's just kind of throwing around their resources kind of willy-nilly. It's like, yeah, we're so far ahead, we'll just gotta do whatever. And Villanova, Franco is not a bad player. Gnarly Shoga has a lot of gold, right? This 200, he has the most CS in the game right now. He's on the leaderboard for these kills too. Like, this is an amount of gold that you can't just like shrug off. He has the resistances and the lifesteal to tank through Carthago, through Newtly, and we saw that in the last team fight there. And this is where you have to be like, okay, we need to pump the brakes, and Butler is not pumping the brakes. In fact, they're pressing on the gas harder. It's like up against the wall, pedal to the metal, but they are not slowing down. Here we go.
Shoga with a little bit of that hero syndrome. He thought, if I can just get one, I can get another, but he went a little too far, forced a little too hard. No stopwatch check. Levi didn't even have to use it. His team shows up to defend, and now Butler, they're on these turrets. They're trying to get even more. Top lane, Tryndamere doing Tryndamere things. Somebody's got to answer if they can. Wulala, he's the one for it. Gonna take a few crits. Oh, those are disgusting. Hitting for 600 damage apiece. Wulala's trying to heal up off the wave so that they might be able to make a final defense. Can they hold for 20 seconds? Shoga would be back up with ultimate. Tryndamere going a little bit deeper under the turret. Wulala, keep that platform, man. You gotta survive. Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't find a mark, but they're taking down the turrets. They're taking down the... Oh, the crits are now coming through from Carthago. He gets the Gale Force back to safety, gets excited, tries to hit that inhibitor, hitting both turrets at once. We're gonna go a little bit deeper. Butler, they got low HPs. Franco knocks him back before he can ultimate. The Tryndamere's dead. Shoga's back for blood. Levi, he gets taken down. Carthago's next. Napdog knocking him up. Kim takes down the Tristana. It's 2 versus 2. Shoga's full HP, has this armor, those resistances we talked about. Napdog can't possibly defend Kim against this. Finds the knockup. He's unstoppable going back there. He's healing up. He's got that shield bow. Bonus healing right now. Knocked against each other. Into the air. Prop fire. He's trying to buy time. Oh, it's 1 for 1 for the mid lane.
Go hit the Nexus.
Where are you going? All of these. He's got to defend. Frostfire, stay alive, heal. AoE damage, it will be enough. Take a deep breath, Villanova. They're still in it, if only for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of the win condition for their team fight there. Villanova just needed to survive, last and long enough for the Gnarly Shoga to respawn. That was their win condition, and that was kind of Butler. What Butler needed to do was play around that respawn as well, but they weren't wailing on the turrets enough. They needed to get to they really needed to try to end the game before Gnarly Shoga respawned. So now, here we are. We're looking at 12,000 once again. 12,000 gold separates these two teams, right? That gold lead has not budged, but that's still 53,000 gold for Villanova. Right? Look at these items that they finished here. This is not this damage needs to be respected here. And now here we go, Newtly looking for Dreamwalk.
Ooh, miscalculated damage? No, he gets a little bit of a burn from that red buff, and Baron does get picked up by Butler. Okay. They're gonna look for this final push. No Frostfire, no Dreamwalk. Shoga, he's right there onto Newtly. Newtly has ultimate, forced to pop it very early, and just Tryndamere things. That's a little unfortunate. Now he won't have that ultimate. Shoga will have to be able to also fight without his. Trying to stack up off the wave. Kim flashes forward, looking for him. Doesn't find the stun. No, it is enough. They will take him down. The only remaining threat from Villanova. Franco dodges out the Super Mega Death Rocket. Says, we can't touch this. 600 damage against the wall will be enough. The Nexus is next. 2-0. Butler are going to host the playoffs. They're going the distance. They are set up.
Yeah, I mean, this was such a good. This was a pretty good game for, honestly, Villanova. Right? Villanova loses here, but they are showing how to beat Butler. Right? Yeah. Butler comes into this and they are going really hard right? They're going super hard in these fights, and they're just kind of throwing around the resources like, oh yeah, we're ahead. Let's just do whatever, right? And Villanova is like, hey, let's get advantages other side of the map. Let's make sure that we can get a character that's very strong, right? And they did that. Gnarly Shoga was their win condition in those late game fights, right? And if Butler does this against the St. John's, does this against the DePaul, it's not going to be an even thing, right? Like they're not going to let this kind of thing happen. If you make even a smaller mistake as Butler in that position against the St. John's or a DePaul, it's going to hurt you a lot more.
Yeah, and it'll hurt a lot more when the title of the player will be "You Lack Style," and it's because you don't have a supreme display of talent. Because that seems to be what has brought 2 games of success for Butler. They take this series. We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we're gonna hear from Kim and NatDog, the playmaking duo of death. So don't go anywhere. You're gonna want to hear from them. NatDog and Kim joining us here today, victorious off that 2-0 Butler. You guys put on a tear. I'm going to kick things off with a question for Kim. The Kiana pick, back-to-back. Where is this coming from, and will we see more of it in the future now that you guys are secured your place in the playoffs?
So apparently, we know that at 13.5 patch, Kiana got a decent buff, and also we got all the changes in jungle. And we were still considering the pick, but still, it wasn't really a good pick anyway. So I was gonna secure it. But as soon as I thought that they picked J4, and it was like, oh, they're just helping us with Omba combo, and I was like, sure, lock it in, and just happened. It's like that.
Nice, yeah, it worked out really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this just kind of lean over to NatDog, because like I feel like the two of you were, especially in that second game there, were kind of influential a lot of these ganks constantly around the map. Is this more of a style that you've adopted kind of recently, NatDog, of just being the roaming support, especially with the Zac pick for sure? Or is this more of like, hey, I'm playing Zac, I can kind of like I can gank from odd angles. Talk to me about whether this is a strategy that you yourself have adopted for like everything, or is this just like a champion specific thing?
I think this is something I've been learning how to do because I did play a lot of jungle. Last semester I was playing jungle, and so this semester with Kim in jungle, I've been learning how support is and kind of how to roam with the jungle. And since I have that jungle experience, I kind of know where the jungle is going to be as well. So I kind of follow Kim around and try to help him invade the jungle because we have a better sense of where everything's going to be, as well as just learning the role and playing more games on it.
I like that. Yeah, I was going to follow that question up and ask, because you have that background in jungle and you guys have clearly been very in sync today, are you nervous about, say, if you go the distance, the favorite in the tournament right now is going to be that St. John's, right? Or even Seton Hall. They're not afraid to play very front-to-back team compositions, similar to what you played against today, but obviously there are lots stronger of teams that have more practice on this. Are you nervous, the two of you, and both of you can take this question one after another, are you nervous about what kind of strategies you guys have been using so far to get to this point, and how those stack up against those front-to-back, almost anti-dive compositions?
I would say that we can play both ways. I think we've adopted this more kind of dive style because it fits our playstyle a little bit better, but I think we've shown in the past that we are capable of playing front to back and playing slower. It's just those teams do it a little bit better than us, and we're working to get better at it.
Kim, how do you feel about that? Are you nervous about having to play maybe some engaged tank junglers rather than this explosive style of like assassins and Kiana?
I mean, I'm a good player, so I can play whatever my team wants. So I'm down with anything my team wants, and pretty sure they'll get my back as when I'm playing tank, and I got their back if I'm playing some assassins or any champs that are out there. So I'm feeling nervous.
Right.
All right. I think the last question from me is for the both of you here. Knowing that we're going over to Butler, do y'all feel good about having the home field advantage? Do you think you guys got a leg up on the rest of the competition because y'all have been playing in that kind of like, hey, come watch us play environment? Talk to me about this about the finals coming up soon.
You know, the finals are going to be a lot of fun. We definitely will have the intimidation factor of playing here and being used to everything here, but it's going to be a lot of fun to have host playoffs and have everyone come here to play against.
Yeah, it's a very exciting prospect. We'll give a moment to both of you to do any shout-outs if you'd like to shout out to friends, family, viewers, fans, of course, the fans that may be showing up to the arena to cheer you guys on live coming up in a couple of weeks. The floor is yours.
Shout out to everyone in the Twitch chat, hyping me up, all my friends, family, my team. Played well today. Let's continue doing so.
Kim, any shout-outs for you?
I mean, shout out to my friends and my family who's back in Korea, most of them. And I know it's like a night there. I'm pretty sure some of my friends are still watching. And shout out to my teammates. You guys did a great job today. And that's pretty much it.
Hey, and before you kick it off, Butler Levi right here. Guys, come out March 25th in the Butler Esports Park. It's going to be awesome. Everybody needs to come out. It's going to be super hype. Production's going to be great. Atmosphere is going to be great. The arena is going to be sick. Everybody got to make sure to come out. If you're watching the stream and you're in the area or you're traveling with your team, make sure to come. It's going to be hype. March 25th for League of Legends. March 24th for Rocket League.
Surprise
we
Levi.
can't be more excited. Yeah,
a wild Levi
surprise
has
Levi.
appeared.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Take that.
Yes, thank you for the shout out there, Levi. Reminding everybody, 25th, we got the grand finals happening for Big East right there at Butler University in Indianapolis. That's going to do it for today's stream. We had a banger series and then another one right here. The Bulldogs, they are revved and ready to go for hosting the playoffs. I cannot wait. Thank you for joining us all. Thank you, Shinkari. Wonderful to cast alongside of you. And a special thank you to our production that puts all this together and makes it possible. And the teams that play and put on a show for us all. Thanks again for joining us. It won't be long before we'll see you in Indianapolis.